Welcome to Close Up Radio, where our hosts, Doug Llewellyn and Jim Masters, bring you the amazing stories of people who answered the call to unlock their potential and taken control of their own success with authenticity, creativity, persistence, and resilience. Close Up Radio special guests share their knowledge and wisdom so you, the listener, can live the most empowered life possible. Close Up Radio. And now, here's today's host, Jim Masters.
Thanks so much for joining us, everybody. We're live worldwide on the award-winning Close Up Radio. It's a pleasure to have you here today and every day with our amazing guests from all around the world who are doing incredible things to make our world a better place. 3 p.m. Eastern, noon Pacific right now at our broadcast center. Dr. Powell is our next guest of Balance to Bloom, a nutritional coach, as well as the founder of Balance to Bloom, where she empowers women to achieve vibrant health. Prior to launching Balance to Bloom, Dr. Powell has been a traditional gynecologist struggling with her own health issues when she realized that she could no longer work or even look to conventional medicine for help. She could no longer work with these ideas of conventional medicine being, the end-all. So that's when Dr. Powell discovered functional medicine. Functional medicine really separates acute care issues from chronic diseases that plague the majority of the population, things like obesity and hypertension, diabetes. It looks for the cause of diseases and allows the body to use its own natural, innate ability to heal. Today, Dr. Powell is a conventional medicine doctor, second, and functional medicine doctor, first. In a medical school, nutrition is not treated as the cornerstone of health that it really is, she says. Her understanding now is that food is medicine. Indeed, of course, digestive health is health. What we put into our body determines our experience. And when it comes to interventions to improve our health, they must be customized to each person's unique needs. Our body is not a bank. It's a complex chemistry lab. All calories don't elicit the same hormonal response. Of course, health isn't just about the physical body. It's about body, mind, and spirit. Now, through a 12-week conscious eating for well-being program, which I think is terrific, this amazing For Well-Being program, Dr. Powell really helps her clients understand the disempowering beliefs that keep them stuck. And a lot of times it's those self-limiting beliefs, too, within us. Together, Dr. Powell and her clients create goals to overcome their health challenges. It's my pleasure to welcome her live and direct from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Dr. Powell, thank you very much for joining us on Close Up Radio. It's a pleasure to have you here today.
Hello, it's my pleasure to be here. Thank you.
You're very, very welcome. I'm fascinated with this topic and this amazing conversation we're going to have in the next 30 minutes, which goes by in a New York minute. You really love this work that you do. It's obvious. And what are some of the things, in your own life's journey that inspired you to want to do this work? And you call yourself a rogue gynecologist. Tell us a little bit about that. And again, some of the inspirations that pointed you in the direction of doing this work.
Well, thank you. I would be happy to do that. I'll start by saying that I spent over 40 years practicing OBGYN because it was a happy medicine, delivering babies and dealing with preventive care for women. It was so much fun. I bought into the work hard, play hard mentality, burning the candle at both ends, because here I was, career, mother, 2 children, the second alto in the church choir, singer every Sunday. And I realized that having a career and doing everything really does mean that having it all, you are actually doing it all. I remember a quick story when I was a resident, second year, we did 12-hour labor room coverage shifts. 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. was the day shift, and 8 p.m. to 8 a.m. was the night shift. And when I worked days, that was 7 days a week, Monday through Sunday. And Friday night, 8 o'clock, we would get off, and we would decide, we're going to go out and go to a movie, have drinks, be a normal person. Well, I don't even remember that movie. I woke up 2 hours later with the lights out in the theater. So it's really hard to do everything. But that's how dedicated I was. I loved what I did, and I put the time in. And it wasn't until my late 40s that I noticed I started getting health problems. And it started with high blood pressure. Thanks, Pop, because my dad had high blood pressure. And like we all think, it's genetic, right? It's in our genes. I took medicine for the blood pressure, and I took medicine for cholesterol, and followed the conventional medicine edict of lowering the blood pressure, treating my symptoms. Then I developed narrowing of my aortic valve. I started having problems with ulcers in my mouth, stiffness in my joints. Long and short, I got this autoimmune disease, and I ended up being just overweight, stressed out, and unhealthy. Multiple doctors, 3 rheumatologists, 1 cardiologist, 1 primary physician, and I was being given all kinds of medicines that barely allowed me to continue and work. I finally hit rock bottom when I developed facial nerve shingles. That was it. I said, I have to fix this. I found integrative nutrition in New York. I used my education as a health coach to lose 50 pounds, come off every single medication they were giving me, and I look and feel 10 years younger than my chronological age, which I tell you, my patients noticed. They would say, Dr. Powell, what are you doing? You look younger every time I come to see you. So I had to share, and in order to be able to share, I went rogue. I needed to leave the conventional thinking of conventional medicine. I was very surprised that the doctors teaching the courses at the Institute of Integrative Nutrition were Western-trained physicians just like me, but every single one of them had a similar story like mine. They got ill, and conventional medicine couldn't fix it. They looked to nutrition and eating better, changing their lifestyle. That works. You ever see those commercials where they say, if you've got heartburn, indigestion, flop, flop, fizz, fizz, oh, what a relief it is?
Yeah.
Don't take the pink stuff. Find out why you have indigestion, bloating, cramping, gas, and take away the inciting event. Don't mask it with the pink stuff.
Right, exactly. And that's
so
what we tend to do. We sort of mask everything with a pill or with something else, and it doesn't really get to the root of the cause. I mean, you've been involved in so many different aspects of healthcare. I mean, when it comes to emergency care, we're brilliant, of course. When it comes to acute care, brilliant. But when it comes to chronic care, there's really no idea of what's happening, it seems. Why is that?
That's a really deep, complex problem, and it starts with we think that we need to change our disease management approach and switch to a more holistic root cause approach, and more using the body's natural built-in systems and mechanisms to heal itself. The body really wants to heal if we give it what it needs, and it will do that, okay? So it also requires us to have an open mind. I'm going to tell you a story. It's called Escape Fire, and it has to do with the firemen who fight those big California burning fires. This one group of firemen, all decked out in their equipment, they realized that they were not going to be able to outrun this fast-moving blaze that was coming up this mountain. One person in the group said, I have this idea. We can't outrun this. Put down your equipment. build up all the combustible stuff in a huge big circle, stand in the middle of the circle with your tent, and the fire will burn itself out around you. No one listened to him. They stuck to protocol. Carry your equipment, get up the hill. He was the only one that made it out alive. Because they could not change from the conventional, traditional teachings and trainings that they had. They couldn't innovate or even hear the idea. And that's the problem and the frustration I had with conventional medicine. And it's not just because they can't hear it. We're locked into this industrial factory kind of production of medicine as a for-profit business instead of as a service-oriented business. I really do believe that if it was not driven by, because when I was asked, what kind of ideas do you have so we can bump up, get GYN more productive? Because nationwide, the GYN procedural stuff was decreasing. There's only so many hysterectomies you can do in a community, okay? I was at Mercy Hospital for 19 years, okay? I think I did take care of that demographic, and when the last 5 or so years, it just across the nation were not that many women that needed hysterectomy. But there were many, many women. 85% of the women that crossed my threshold, obesity, diabetes, hypertension, heart disease, knee joint replacements needed, all kinds of stuff. And I just could not understand how I could sit there and not say to my patients, what are you eating? Do you understand that what you are, what you eat, that you don't have to take blood pressure medicine if you do this, that you don't have to take medicine to lower your blood sugar. You can eat to lower your blood sugar. Eat differently to lower your blood sugar. The problem with, I don't want to throw the baby out with the bathwater. It is just that medicine is good. We do a lot of great things, but this one piece of not separating the difference between an acute issue versus a chronic issue and looking at the root cause is a big problem.
In all aspects of health, absolutely, health and overall wellness, very, very much so. I agree 100%. This leap of faith was really extraordinary for you, wouldn't you say? You had the extraordinary career in conventional medicine, but then there was this aha moment of there's another way, there's other things that could be done. And I decided, I think I'm going to, take what I've done and enhance it by creating balance to bloom. Tell us about that.
Right. It's I kind of look at it, that old twisted the serenity prayer a little bit. I am no longer accepting the things I cannot change. I am changing the things that I can no longer accept. So I ask my patients, if I were to say to you, I've got this program, I can show you how you can, by making simple changes in your habits and what you eat and in your lifestyle, that you can live a disease-free life up to about 100 years of age, okay, by taking back control of your health and changing your diet and changing your lifestyle. What would you say to that? Sign me up, doc. Interest. Why don't my other doctors talk to me about this? Like, it was a no-brainer for me. There was a need. Patients were clearly interested, and I made up handouts, and I would spend my time talking to them in the office about health and well-being and how that their diet and their whether they didn't exercise enough, whether they weren't getting enough sleep, whether they didn't manage their stress very well, whether they were eating mostly the standard American diet, SAD, standard American diet, very sad, refined processed foods, sugars, lots of chemicals, preservatives. It's all for the convenience of the food industry. They even have commercials that tell you, drink Diet Pepsi just because you can. No. That's the only way they can advertise these food stuff, which is what I call them, is not to talk to you and tout their nutrient content because they don't have any, is to use, be yourself. Eat a Snickers bar and come back into yourself. You hear those commercials. One of them, we don't even need to put our logo on the bag. We just put this big orange triangle, and you know what it is. Okay? That's not food. That's not food. And it's surprising to me how we are bombarded with messages from the food industry that are misleading. One of my favorite advice to give to most of my clients is when you're in the store, do not read the front of the package. That's an advertisement. It'll say all natural, low fat, non-GMO, gluten-free. Turn it over and read what's in the ingredient list on the back. And here's my rule. 5 or more stays in the store. Most of them are unpronounceable chemicals to make they're called stabilizers, and to make food feel like it should feel in your mouth, and to, make the artificial flavorings. And it's not real food. And if you think about it, it's all done to prolong the shelf life so they can sell more of it to you. So there's a lot of misinformation, misleading stuff that makes people think that it's okay to buy, and it's not. It really isn't.
Exactly. Very few people can really sustain the effort to make the changes without some guidance and mentorship and support, and that's where you come in, which is so beautiful. Tell us about some of the ways that you exercise that with your clients through Balance to Bloom, and some of the wonderful things that you're able to do for your clients.
Well, I work primarily through a virtual group coaching program. Especially since COVID came, everything's virtual. It used to be an in-person group, but now it's a virtual group coach program that really addresses diet and lifestyle habits that lead to optimal health. I cover mindset, the physical body, and one's spiritual life. By balancing this triad of mind, body, and spirit, that's the real key to wellness and to what I call being well. Well-being, you want to be well. So by working with like-minded people, makes it fun. And it keeps you motivated. It keeps you engaged. And it helps you create new habits for sustainable weight loss. No more of this yo-yo stuff, yo-yo diet stuff. I debunk the myths from the food and the weight loss industry on how to lose weight. We kind of blame the public. They're not exercising. They're not, eating a 1,500 calorie, severe calorie restricted diet. Nobody can do that. First of all, you don't feel good because you're overweight, stressed out, and unhealthy. So you don't even feel like exercising. All right. So you need someone there to just help you navigate the complex waters of the food industry and the diet and weight loss industry that's out there. Supplements. One of the things I love to say, you cannot supplement a poor diet. Supplements are just that. They are to add to a healthy diet the things that you may be missing just because it's, for instance, vitamin D. You need that because that gets absorbed to your skin. There's not a lot of ways to get that in the diet. You need to get sun exposure. And if you're dark complected, if you're using sunscreen, and if you're you're indoors in the metal boxes and under the artificial lights most of the time, because we don't get outdoors enough, so that's when supplementation becomes important. Okay, so the real culprit isn't the fact that you can't starve yourself on a very low-calorie restrictive diet, which, by the way, does work initially to get you to lose weight, but the body is very, very smart. It has a built-in famine protection protocol to keep us alive longer. When the calories go down, it'll slow the metabolic rate down, so you burn less, but it'll last longer. The little bit you have will last longer. So I teach techniques like fasting that lower your calories, yes, but without lowering your metabolic rate, and it ups the fat-burning metabolism of the body. That's what we want to do. We want to burn that fat.
Mm-hmm.
So I help my clients create their goals, and I help them. I teach them how to use emotional resilience and positive psychology concepts for, the cognitive behavioral therapy. They're using, compassion and gratitude to, keep yourself motivated and moving forward and feeling good about yourself. And being happy now, not someday, being happy now because you're working on a future you that you want to become. My Balance to Bloom program is the bridge between the gap of where you are now and where you want to be with your health.
See, that's the key. That is the link right there, what you just said. That is the actual that's the secret sauce in all of it. Absolutely. Tell us about your Conscious Eating for Well-Being program. That sounds absolutely fascinating.
Well, it is, because we are unconscious eaters. We do everything unconscious, and that's not all bad. It's called habits, and some habits are really good, and some habits are really bad. Habits are good to have in place because it gets rid of that cognitive weight. You don't have to think about it all the time. You don't have to make a choice. You don't have to, should I eat it, should I not? It's a habit, and it's not. My conscious eating helps you be able to say, not that I can't eat that, like restrictive, depriving diets do, but my conscious eating for a well-being program makes you say, I don't eat that because it's not healthy for me. It will cause me to have whatever. But that's a whole different mentality, mindset, to think that I don't rather than I can't. But most of our habits are formed they come from our cultural norms. They're also convenient. We also eat because it tastes good. We eat just for taste. And availability. It's there. It's easy to get to. So one of the things I work on with conscious eating is to get rid of that unconscious going for food that's not good for you, and to get rid of the concept that food is just fuel or energy. It's not. Food is information because it affects the very expression of our DNA. Okay? I've learned that with my dad, I got high blood pressure, and I said, oh, my God, it runs in the family. I'm going to have high blood pressure and diabetes just like my father. Well, no, I may have that gene, that DNA there, but DNA loads the gun, but your diet and lifestyle pulls the trigger. So just by eating better, not eating all those processed sugary foods and low nutrient poor, high caloric foods, I am fine. I no longer take blood pressure medicine. I no longer am overweight. I feel better. I think better. I move better. And that's why I came up with getting this program going and sharing it with everybody. I just had to do that.
Mm-hmm. Are you a proponent of intermittent fasting? Some people do that often, I noticed.
Right. I'm 100% an intermittent fasting proponent. It is the best way to control insulin. And any person that has insulin resistance, like diabetics, like obese patients, like patients with the GYN problem called polycystic ovarian syndrome, these people really need to incorporate intermittent fasting into their diet. Not eating has been found to be, as I said before, the crucial pathway to get the body to start burning fat. It's stored there as a way, because when we eat, food's broken down, sugar, all the carbs become sugar, the proteins broken down into amino acids, and the fat is fat. We don't burn protein. We use protein to build things, but we burn, the two fuels we burn are fat and sugar. When we eat, and if we're eating more sugar than fat, which we do, we use what we need, and everything else, insulin comes out, stores it. Puts glycogen in your liver, and it puts fat in your fat. And that is for later use, so that should we come upon food scarcity, when historically, prehistorically, that's what used to happen. We were hunter-gatherers. It wasn't a given we were always going to have food every day. So our bodies learn to adapt, and that's the mechanism. And modern times where there's this overabundance of food, I mean, why can I buy food in Pep Boys? It's an automotive store. Why are they selling chocolate chip cookies and Doritos in Pep Boys? So everywhere, 24/7, 24-hour stores, and we eat 24 hours a day. We eat a lot. Grazing, snacking. We just need to learn that is not the way to health. We are not giving our bodies the time to shut down, to heal, to repair. That's what sleeping and fasting are for. So I recommend, and all of my clients do intermittent fasting, and I'm delighted to tell you that it's pretty easy to learn to do, and it's not hard. I start with something very simple. We talk about, this is all part of like time-restricted eating. I have them do a 16-hour, 8-hour fasting for 16 hours, 8-hour eating window, and it's not hard to do. Here's the key. Stop eating after 7 p.m.
Right.
And that's the hardest part. That's what everybody works on, and that's the mindset stuff, that's the group dynamic stuff to help us, revamp that habit of sitting down in front of the TV after you had your dinner, right, and drink your beer, eat your chips, eat your popcorn, or whatever it is you're eating. It's not food.
Mm-hmm.
So
exactly.
If you stop eating at 7 p.m., Jim, if you stop eating at 7 p.m., sleep, you're fasting. Your body is breaking down old, used-up cells. Your liver is detoxing. Your pancreas is resting. You are really healing anything that's broken. And when you wake up in the morning, breakfast is not a time of day. Breakfast is when you break your fast. That's the very definition of it. So if you stop eating at 7, you wake up in the morning at 7, that's a 12-hour window, you need to wait until 11 o'clock to eat to have a 16-hour complete fast. And if you want to eat sooner, you just stop eating earlier in the evening.
Our very special guest today on Close Up Radio is Dr. Cy Powell, and the website to connect if you want to learn more about all of this and investigate further. She is very affable and responsive and empathetic and skilled, and has been doing this work for a long time. Nutrition coach and the founder of Balance to Bloom, where she empowers women to achieve vibrant health. The website is balance2bloom.com. That's balance2, that's T-O, balance2bloom.com. I cannot believe that the 30 minutes has flipped by in a New York minute, Doctor.
Oh,
I hope it's 30 minutes come and gone. But I hope it was a fascinating conversation. You're obviously not only knowledgeable, but you're so passionate about wanting to help others in the way that you do. I hope you'll come back and we can explore some more, maybe hear some testimonials and other unique aspects to what you do. But this was truly a pleasure, and I enjoyed it thoroughly, and I certainly hope you did, Doctor, as well. I
certainly did. I thank you for letting me get my voice out there. People need to know this. That's one of the things no one's talking to women.
That's right.
Especially women of color.
Right.
No one's talking to them.
That's exactly right, and it's important to get a beautiful job and hopefully we'll chat again real soon. BalanceToBloom.com is the website. We thank Dr. Powell for joining us, and thank you for joining us on Close Up Radio. I'm your host, Jim Masters. Stay tuned. We'll be back momentarily with another amazing guest as well, right here, celebrated on Close Up Radio. Until then, for all of us, thanks for being with us, and you have a terrific day. Bye for now.
You have been listening to a broadcast from Close Up Radio, a division of Close Up Television Incorporated. For more information about our show and to be considered for future broadcasts, please visit closeuptelevision.com. You may also learn about us on social media and listen to us on podcast and internet radio. Thank you for joining us, and we hope that you have an empowered and productive day.